Welcome to Deck 4 of the ITIL 4 Foundation Challenge. We will test your ability to apply the right practice, principle, or concept to realistic IT scenarios. This deck covers 5 key topics, including practice identification and event versus incident. You'll have 30 seconds for each of the 20 questions. Let's start the challenge. Question 61. A monitoring tool reports a CPU usage spike on a critical server, but users haven't noticed any issue. What is this most accurately? A, an incident, B, an event, C, a problem, or D, a service request? The correct answer is B, an event. A monitored state change without user impact is an event. It only becomes an incident once users experience a service interruption or a drop in quality. A significant monitored change of state is an event unless service interruption has occurred. Question 62. Users report that printing has stopped across one office. IT restarts the print service, and normal operation returns, but no one investigates why it failed. Which statement is most accurate? A. Problem management was performed, but incident management was not. B. Change enablement was performed, but release management was not. C. Incident management was performed, but problem management was not. D. Service request management was performed, but incident management was not. The correct answer is C. Incident management was performed, but problem management was not. Restoring the service addresses the incident. However, without investigating the root cause, problem management activities did not run. Both are necessary for effective resolution. Question 63. A new starter needs mailbox access, Teams access, and a laptop as part of a standard onboarding process. Which practice is most relevant? A. Incident management. B. Monitoring and event management. C. Problem management. Or D. Service request management. The correct answer is D. Service request management. Standard onboarding through a defined process is an expected and pre-approved service request. It is not an incident or an emergency change. Onboarding access and equipment through a standard route is a service request scenario. Question 64. A supplier-hosted application keeps missing performance expectations, but there are no formal reviews, no agreed service reports, and no escalation route. Which practice is most clearly weak? A. Supplier management. B. Release management. C. Service desk. Or D. Incident management. The correct answer is A. Supplier management. No formal reviews, reporting, or escalation route indicates textbook supplier management gaps. These are not related to service desk or service level management issues. Poor control of vendor performance and escalation is a supplier management weakness. Question 65. A change is planned for Friday evening on a production-critical system. There is no rollback plan, no clear risk assessment, and no review of service impact. Which practice would most directly reduce this risk? A. Service level management. B. Relationship management. C. Monitoring and event management. Or D. Change enablement. The correct answer is D. Change enablement. Change enablement should control risk, impact assessment, authorization, and rollback planning. Without these, the change enablement practice has failed to mitigate risk. No rollback plan, no risk assessment, and no impact review are critical failures of change enablement. Question 66. A service technically works, but users say it is so slow during peak periods that they avoid using it. Which concept is most directly under pressure? A. Warranty. B. Event management. C. Utility. Or D. Service consumption. The correct answer is A. Warranty. If the service functions but performs badly under load, the issue is with warranty. Utility covers what the service does, while warranty covers how reliably it performs. If the service works but performs badly in use, warranty is the issue. Question 67. A support team notices the same Wi-Fi dropout issue keeps affecting the same area every morning. They document a workaround and start investigating the likely underlying cause. Which practice is primarily in play? A. Incident management. B. Problem management. C. Service desk. Or D. Release management. The correct answer is B. Problem management. Recurring faults, documenting workarounds, and root cause investigation are all key activities in problem management. These actions are triggered by patterns of events or incidents, not single occurrences. Recurring faults, workarounds, and cause analysis point to problem management. Question 68. A manager says, "We closed 300 tickets this month, so the service must be improving." Which statement is most accurate? A. Ticket closure count proves value has improved. B. Ticket closure count is the same as warranty. C. Ticket closure count is mainly an output measure, not proof of better outcomes or value. Or D. Ticket closure count proves the service value chain is working holistically. The most accurate statement is C. Closure counts measure activity or output, not proof of value or outcomes. They don't confirm if user goals were achieved or if business value truly improved. Ticket counts are outputs, not reliable measures of improved outcomes or value. Question 69. A service redesign removes a feature users rely on daily because no users were consulted during design. Which guiding principle would have most helped avoid this? A. Collaborate and promote visibility. B. Start where you are. C. Optimize and automate. Or D. Keep it simple and practical.
The correct answer is A, collaborate and promote visibility. Failing to consult users shows a lack of collaboration and visibility into the service's use, leading to poor decisions like removing essential features. Designing without consulting users requires better collaboration and visibility.
Question 70. An organization buys a new tool but does not define supplier responsibilities, support boundaries, or escalation ownership with the vendor. Which dimension was most clearly neglected? A. Information and technology. B. Partners and suppliers. C. Organizations and people. Or D. Value streams and processes. The most neglected dimension is B, partners and suppliers. Issues related to defining vendor responsibilities, support boundaries, and escalation ownership fall under effective management of partners and suppliers. Undefined vendor responsibilities and support boundaries indicate a partners and suppliers failure. Question 71. A team replaces an old reporting process without first checking which parts of it were already useful and trusted. Which guiding principle was most clearly ignored? A. Think and work holistically. B. Focus on value. C. Start where you are. Or D. Progress iteratively with feedback. The guiding principle most clearly ignored is C, start where you are. Replacing a process without assessing what is already working risks eliminating existing value. Always assess current status before beginning improvements to avoid losing value. Question 72. A change has already been approved and tested. The software packages are now being moved into the live environment. Which practice is now most directly involved? A. Change enablement. B. Problem management. C. Service request management. Or D. Deployment management. The practice most directly involved is D, deployment management. Deployment management focuses on moving new or changed components into live environments for use. Deployment management covers the physical movement of software packages into the live environment. Question 73. A support analyst says, "This is the third time this week the same sync issue has broken access, so I'm raising a known error record after identifying the cause." Which practice is most relevant? A. Problem management. B. Service configuration management. C. Incident management. Or D. IT asset management. The correct answer is A, problem management. Identifying the underlying cause of recurring incidents and creating a known error record is a core function of problem management. Known error records and identified causes are part of the problem management process. Question 74. A service provider wants to understand who depends on a database server, what applications rely on it, and what upstream-downstream relationships exist. Which practice is most relevant? A. IT asset management. B. Relationship management. C. Service level management. Or D. Service configuration management.
The correct answer is D, Service Configuration Management. This practice maintains information about configuration items and their relationships, which is essential for understanding dependencies like those involving a database server. Understanding component dependencies and relationships is service configuration management.
Question 75. A team introduces a dashboard that looks impressive but does not help anyone decide what to do or improve service outcomes. Which statement is most accurate? A. The dashboard clearly demonstrates value. B. The dashboard proves service warranty is strong. C. The dashboard may provide data but not necessarily useful measurement and reporting. Or D. The dashboard is part of the service value chain, so it must be useful.
The most accurate statement is C. Reporting only matters if it helps decisions or improvement. A dashboard that doesn't aid in decision-making or drive improvements is an output without a valuable outcome. Useless dashboards provide data, but not effective measurement and reporting.
Question 76. An infrastructure team designs a technically robust solution, but no request path, escalation route, or approval workflow is defined. Which dimension has most clearly been neglected? A. Value streams and processes. B. Information and technology. C. Partners and suppliers. Or D. Organizations and people.
The correct answer is A. Value streams and processes. Missing operational flows like request paths, escalation routes, and approval workflows indicate a clear gap in the value streams and processes dimension. Missing operational processes point to a value streams and processes gap. Question 77. A team automates a heavily duplicated onboarding process without simplifying it first. Which pair of guiding principles is most relevant? A. Collaborate and promote visibility and think and work holistically. B. Focus on value and start where you are. C. Keep it simple and practical and optimize and automate. Or D. Progress iteratively with feedback and engage. The correct answer is C. The ITIL guiding principle states to keep it simple and practical before you optimize and automate. Automating a complicated, duplicated process will scale the problem instead of improving it. Simplify the process first, then automate to avoid scaling issues. Question 78. A department head defines the required service targets for a finance system, but finance clerks use the system daily. In this scenario, the department head is most likely the A. User, B. Sponsor, C. Supplier, or D. Customer. The correct answer is D. Customer. The department head acts as the customer because they define the requirements and targets for the service. The finance clerks are the users. The person defining service requirements is acting as the customer.
Question 79. A support team logs alerts, filters noise, and decides which signals need action before users are affected. Which practice is most directly involved? A. Monitoring and event management. B. Incident management. C. service desk, or D, availability management? The correct answer is A, monitoring and event management. Logging, filtering, and deciding which alerts need action before a user is affected are the core activities of the monitoring and event management practice. Proactive alert handling before user impact is monitoring and event management. Question 80. A service is redesigned to reduce support costs, but the changes make it harder for users to complete their work. Which guiding principle was most clearly neglected? A, optimize and automate. B, focus on value. C, collaborate and promote visibility. Or D, start where you are. The correct answer is B, focus on value. Improving cost efficiency at the expense of user work ease neglects the focus on value principle, as value must be viewed from the stakeholder's perspective. Making work harder for users neglects the principle to focus on value.